In these cities, they don't give security or safety. In these cities, they fail spectacularly when it comes to education. Specific example, the city of Baltimore, 13 public high schools. You want to venture a guess? What percentage in the 13 schools, not 13 kids, 13 public high schools, what percentage of kids in those schools, and you don't have to answer, it's not a trick question.
I'll ballpark it. I'll try just to see.
Do you believe are proficient in math and reading?
So for a guy that is governing like a conservative, that's pretty obvious at this point. One of the things that we've talked about a couple of times on your show is what's happening in Portland, in Seattle, in Chicago, in New York, just the crazy situations of violence and murder and everything else because of these progressive policies, which, by the way, years ago, well before I knew you, when I would flick on your show, you were basically the only guy that was talking about the black on black crime in Chicago. And nobody, and everyone would, what would they do? They would call you racist for it, for even bringing it up. You'd say, well, 30 black people died this weekend, and they would call you the racist for it. But are you concerned at all that optics-wise, when Trump then sends in the National Guard and we get federal troops and these things, that this is playing into the hand that, oh, well, you see, he's the authoritarian. He's the guy that wanted to throw all the federal troops into the cities.
Well, when Obama said this week that federal troops are using tear gas and batons on peaceful protesters, that's not true. And in spite of all the video evidence, or Jerry Nadler saying, this is a myth. He actually said it. Or who would ever think that a major party presidential candidate would say the words, the police are the enemy? Like what? And supporting defunding the police. I mean, Joe Biden has yet to say a good thing about the 99% of policemen and women that protect and serve their cities. All of them put their lives on the line for all of us every single day. And so you ask a great question. Donald Trump has not sent in the National Guard unless they request it. He's been begging New York City and Chicago and Portland and Seattle, begging them, let us help you restore law and order and safety and security. You can't pursue happiness, Dave Rubin, without law and order and a safe community. If you're a 1-year-old shot in a park in New York, dead in a stroller, or an 8-year-old little girl killed in Atlanta because her mom made a wrong turn into the chop zone near where the Wendy's, that street had been taken over, a new autonomous zone, and that little girl in the back of the car died after getting shot in the head, or a 7-year-old beautiful girl in Chicago died on the 4th of July weekend while at her grandmother's house, playing on the 4th of July, or Horace Lorenzo Anderson Jr., 19 years old, and his father, that heart-wrenching interview that I had with him, it killed me because my kids are 18 and 21. Anyway, so the answer is he's offering. Now, that's separate and apart from we're talking about 100 troops that are being sent in to protect federal property and federal courthouses. That's not only their job, but their obligation, because they were trying to burn them to the ground. They're not there to restore law and order to the cities because the mayors refuse to do it. What do all of these cities we're talking about, New York, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, the city of Atlanta, what do they all have in common? They've all been run by liberal Democrats for decades.
Yeah.
Now, if you believe as I do, and I get into a lot of this in the book, which is over your shoulder.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to get there, I promise.
But that actually does
well, this does color a lot of the stuff in the book.
A lot of it. But if you believe in our founding document is our Declaration, right? Some people think it's the Constitution. No, the founding document. What does it say? I can remember it, unlike, Kooky Joe. My favorite clip of him. Hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women are created by the thing, the thing. God, Joe, God, the creator of everything, all right? Oh, that scared me. So, but if you believe in that, what does that line mean? We're endowed by our creator means that God rights for all of us, and I believe this with my mind, my heart, my soul, they come from God. They don't come from man. They don't come from government. And that life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. How, Dave Rubin, you tell me, how do you pursue happiness if you're living in those cities and you're not safe in a park or your grandma's backyard on the 4th of July, or if your mom makes a wrong turn on a city street, or if your son is in the summer of love zone, as Mayor Durkin said? How do you pursue happiness if you don't have basic law, order, safety, security? How do you pursue happiness in all of these cities? What is one other commonality? They all have the worst educational records of most cities in the world. We pay more per capita for education than any other country in the industrialized world. These cities have this in common. We have failed our children. If you look at a ladder, I used to be a contractor, right? You have the rungs of the ladder, right? Okay, you take away that education, and I'll give you a little bit of my background. I learned Latin. I went to a seminary in high school, and the word education from the Latin derivative at ducere, to bring forth from within. So if we believe that God gives you rights, if education is to bring forth from what is already there from God, talents he gave you, well, you need safety, security, you need education. So, okay, Joe Biden is saying that the government's going to take care of everything you ever want in your life. He's going to take care of a guaranteed job at a guaranteed wage and K through college education and forgive student loans and government guaranteed vacations and government guaranteed healthy food. And you're going to have government guaranteed health care, and you're going to have a government guaranteed retirement, and you don't have a worry in the world. I'll get to the psychology of that. Okay, what is the track record in these liberal cities that have been run by liberals for decades, which is what Joe Biden, adopting Bolshevik Bernie's socialism and AOC's New Green Deal, and Bozo, as I call him, O'Rourke, and Bozo's gun confiscation plan. All right, so in these cities, they don't give security or safety. In these cities, they fail spectacularly when it comes to education. Specific example, the city of Baltimore, 13 public high schools. You want to venture a guess? What percentage in the 13 schools, not 13 kids, 13 public high schools, what percentage of kids in those schools, and you don't have to answer, it's not a trick question.
I'll ballpark it. I'll try just to see.
Do you believe are proficient in math and reading? Matt, let's start with math.
I mean, I'm going to guess, I'm going to go obviously crazily low. I'm going to guess, what, to like 10%, something like that?
Not one child in 13 public high schools. Baltimore spends, they're the third highest per capita per student spending in the world. Not one kid in 13 schools? Okay, here's the ladder. Why don't you just take a sledgehammer, rip out all the rungs and beat out both sides of it, because you don't have an education. So they don't provide security, safety, law, order. They don't provide education. All right, what else has government done for us? If we're going to put all our hate, if we're going to believe Joe Biden and Bernie's socialist utopia and AOC's New Green Deal, okay, and they're going to take care of every single need we have in life. Okay, how's Social Security doing, Dave Rubin? Because the last I checked, you're screwed. I'll probably get something until they means test it, because it's headed towards bankruptcy.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about the media instead of nonstop yelling, check out our media playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out the full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.